good morning, good evening, or good night, however you want to look at it, Tulane Green Wave fans. I'm Patrick Harkness, and this is the Roll That Wave Pod. So let's get rolling. All right, welcome to another installment of the Roll That Wave Pod. I'm joined by Colin Cummings. He is over at SI. Colin, go ahead and tell everyone about yourself and what you're doing these days.
Oh man. First off, my name's Colin. I'm from New Orleans. Grew up here. Dad was in the military. Moved around a lot, but really grew up. Big Saints and LSU fan, to be honest. Growing up, and then Tulane on SI. I've been wanting to get into sports journalism for a while now, and Tulane on SI popped up as an opportunity that came up, and I still am from New Orleans, so there's still a bit of love for Tulane in my heart. And then, over the past, I'd say about year and a half, Tulane has grown on me much more so than LSU has. Now, I will say LSU has done some things to make me really not like them. That mostly has to do with Brian Kelly and that sort of era of football that they had going on. But being attached to Tulane this past year it's a lot of growth for me. It's been a ton of fun, and I'm so excited for this year because last year I came in sort of middle of the season, kind of had to pick things up as things went. But now whole off season of preparation. I know the guys now, and it's gonna be a fun year, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very, very exciting year. And then you also have a really great story that's going to be coming out tomorrow. I don't know how much you want to get into that, but I'll just kind of let you take the floor if you want to say a little something about it. Or
yeah, for sure, I appreciate it. Tomorrow I'm gonna have a feature story. It's a inspirational, hopeful, it is a very emotional story that I had the amazing pleasure of sharing with everybody in regards to Mercer transfer. Gavin Marks, his father reached out to me whenever we at Tulane on SI were doing our transfer portal review right before fall camp started. And in those reviews, I had been reached out to by somebody regarding Gavin Marks, and it was his father, and he shared his story with me, and it inspired me. And I said, let me write a story on it, please. And he said, absolutely. So over the past few weeks, I've been interviewing just about everybody involved with Gavin and realizing his impact. But it'll come out tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And I'm very, very excited to share it with you all.
Nice. I cannot wait to read it myself. I'm really looking forward to that. I'll have my alarm set at 6 a.m. But yeah, so you also been coming out with these scouting reports too on these upcoming games. We got Duke and then South Alabama coming up. So we're gonna go ahead and today's show we're gonna go over Duke, we're gonna go over South Alabama. We're gonna get into a little bit of a Jersey talk, and then we're gonna talk about the offensive line. There was an injury to it. We're gonna see how this new offensive line shuffles out now, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about defense. But Colin, go ahead and take the floor, man, and let's talk about this Duke game coming up. I think in 12 weeks or not 12 weeks, 12 days? Or
yeah, I think so, man. Less than 2 weeks away, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Duke is easily one of the more interesting opponents on Tulane's schedule. Last year, some very odd tiebreaker rules regarding strength of schedule allows them to play in the ACC championship against Virginia. They end up winning in overtime. That was a crazy game to watch. And I knew going into it, I was like, no way Duke wins. I was sitting there, I was like, no way Duke wins this game, because if Duke wins, the entire playoff is just thrown into chaos. And that's exactly what happened. And it was very entertaining as a third-party viewer. But back to Duke, this is a much different team than last year in terms of their offense. Former Tulane quarterback Darian Mensah is gone. He went to Miami, and that was really their primary source of offense last year, along with their top three receivers, one of which got drafted, two of which transferred. One went with Darian Mensah to Miami. Cooper Barcotti, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, you got it.
And then Keyshawn Brown went to Virginia Tech. You have a lot of the same staff coming in, but Walker Eget comes in from San Jose State. His past 2 years were solid over there. Didn't play bad. It's really their running back Nate Shepard. Man, he's really, really good, and that's what really scares me about this Duke team. And unfortunately, this game is played at Duke. But in my eyes, this is a very winnable game for Tulane. You know, I feel like this is the perfect game to get your season off right, to start with the confidence high. I'm not sure if this is going to be a very high scoring game. It might be 24-20, maybe 17-20. I feel like this is going to be a really defensive heavy battle, mainly because Duke just doesn't have those air raid weapons that I would like to see, along with, you know, the quarterback position play is still a question for me. You know, I'd still like to see what Eget can do at the P4 level. But the Tulane defense is just as strong as last year. I feel like the defensive line, even though they lost a lot, what they replaced them with is still really, really solid, really quality. That secondary is no joke. And man, that linebacking core has done nothing but impress me all camp.
Yeah.
And in terms of their offense, again, really the only question right now is quarterback. To be honest, my professional, I guess, prediction is I think Samanza will likely start, and Zion will come in on any sort of design runs or maybe wildcat or even some pass plays, just to sort of keep people on their toes. Because at the end of the day, you can't deny Zion is one of the best athletes on the field, and you need to use that to your ability. But yeah, all in all, though, this is a very winnable game for Tulane. It's going to be tough. This is not going to be hard. I wouldn't be surprised if they walked away with a loss, and I don't think this is a bad loss. You're starting week 1 at Duke. This is their home opener. This is as tough as it gets.
Yeah. And then before I kind of really took a dive into Duke, I didn't think this was going to be a winnable game at all. And then the more and more I kind of looked into it, they lost damn near everyone. A lot of production is gone from this team. Like Menza, almost 4,000 yards, 34 passing touchdowns. Him and Cooper Barcotti, like you said, both go down to Miami. Barcotti had 1,000 yards. Yeah. And then they had 3 offensive linemen. Brian Parker, he was their right tackle. He also played a little bit of guard too. He gets drafted by the Bengals. So 3 of their starting offensive linemen gone. And then now we go to the defense. Vincent Anthony Jr., he went to the NFL draft. I was a huge fan of Vincent Anthony Jr. in the NFL draft. I was kind of hoping the Bengals would get him, but instead we got Cassius Howe. But different story, different pot. Chandler Rivers, corner, big fan of him. He went to the NFL as well. And Terry Moore goes to Ohio State to play strong safety or free safety over there.
Yeah.
So that's just some of the guys. That's just the major guys. And a lot of those guys are really, really good. How did they go 7-5? I don't understand how.
Dude, it's their record is so confusing.
I think they were just very I think they were just an undisciplined team. I just really do, because when we play against them, just like the special teams were a mess. There was penalties. Mm-hmm. It's just I don't know how they went 7-5.
Yeah, but they lost to Illinois, man, early on in the year. That was Illinois when they were still ranked like top 10 though, and then they got blown out by, who was it, Indiana or something? It was another top 10 team that they got blown out by.
Yeah, because it was funny, because I remember I was like, Indiana, Illinois, whoever said we'd have 2 ranked Indiana, Illinois, like 2 I teams going at it. I'm like, but I thought I'd never say Indiana won a national championship. I never thought I would say that.
Yeah, and also they lost to UConn. You can't lose to UConn, man.
No,
you lose to UConn. They lost to Georgia Tech. That's not a bad loss. You lost to Tulane, Illinois, and I believe that was it. Illinois,
that's weird.
Tulane, Georgia Tech, Duke, or UConn.
Just very, very weird. But they do have some guys returning. I know they got 10 returning starters, 4 offense, 4 defense, and 2 special teams. Like you were talking about Nate Shepard. I remember Tulane was recruiting him, and then there was also Javon Gordon. At that time, Javon Gordon was committed to Duke, and then Shepard it seemed like they were kind of fighting back and forth between these two. Then Gordon decommits, Shepard goes to Duke, then Gordon comes to Tulane. So it's like a little switcheroo.
Yeah.
But lost my train of thought here. But Shepard, I remember because last year I came out with the Tulane season preview, and then I do all the recruiting of high school kids in the area and like outer and like more who Tulane's going after. And Shepard was one of my favorite running backs. Watching him in high school, the dude was a monster, and I wanted Tulane to get him so bad. But once he went to Duke, I'm like, watch out. They don't have anyone in that running back room. He's going to take off. And he did. He had 1,000 yards, 1,132 yards, 11 touchdowns, freshman All-American, second in the ACC, all conference wise. But they are just basically stop him. Force Walker again to beat you. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure wide receiver wise. I know they got Jared Richardson out of Penn.
Yeah.
He was all Ivy. And then Javon Nichols is a guy we should all know because Tulane was going after him in the transfer portal. A little slot guy, 5'8", 5'9". Yeah. Actually, he came from Charlotte. Was he originally at LSU?
Let me see. Javon Nicholas. I have him here as a transfer from LSU, but he probably just went to both.
Okay, because I had him. I remember his name, and I thought it was Charlotte for some reason.
Yeah, no. He was LSU 22, 24. I'm assuming he took a break in 23. He was at Charlotte last year. So, yeah, you were right.
Okay. Either way, LSU and Charlotte. But he's going to be their best receiver. He's going to be essentially Cooper was more of a bigger guy on the outside. Nichols is just going to be in that slot spot and then just be like little quick throws, throw it to him, get him in open space. And then they also get this stud left tackle from Coastal Carolina, Nick Del Grande. This guy is a beast. He's going to be playing left tackle. He's going to be really good. Future NFL draft guy. They do return also Matt Craycraft at center. He was preseason all AAC. So they have some stability. It seems like they got two guys who are going to be leading that room on the offensive line. Not quite sure about left guard, right tackle. I'm sure they got someone lined up and ready to go. But those are going to be the two big guys leading this running attack, I believe, that Duke's going to install against Tulane.
Yeah.
They also return linebacker Luke Margett. He led the team in tackles, had 90 tackles. But yeah, that pretty much covers what I wanted to say about Duke. And the bottom line, this should have been a better team. It was not a good team. Somehow they won. Somehow they got there and won the ACC championship. And you lose all this production. And then, so as I was saying at the beginning when I started talking about it, I thought Tulane was going to be able to win this game. And after hearing myself now say it all, I think Tulane should have this game. Yeah. I know it's going to be tough. In Durham, but I think they should have it. Just load the box, stop the run, force Walker again to throw it on you. I know he had over 3,000 yards over at San Jose State, multi-year starter, but force them to have Walker win the game, I believe. And then Tulane, whatever their quarterback situation is, the quarterback has to play like a good quarterback, whether it's Zion or Samanza, which big fan of Samanza and Zion. Let Samanza throw the ball, let Zion throw or run the ball, like how you said before, with designed or RPOs. But I think they should have it, but it's going to be tough. First game, we don't know anything about the quarterbacks. And it's a road game, so who knows?
For me, the most beatable part of this Duke team, because I feel like their whole thing last year was their production. Was Darian Mensah, was those wide receivers, and you take all that away, and dude, you look at this defense, man. They were allowing 30 points a game, almost 450 yards a game, 6 yards per play, is all bottom echelon of college football when it comes to defensive rankings. I believe it's 96th in points, 119th in yards, 121st in yards per play. It's bad, and no staff changes. influx of transfers on the defensive side, some retentions. But for me, looking at it, it's like putting a Band-Aid over a flesh wound. Like it's just it's not enough. This defense is glaring, and I think that Tulane needs to use this opportunity to really, really, really build confidence across all sides of the ball, and specifically, really that offensive line and that quarterback spot.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a great game to just open the floodgates on the run game and just get out of there with a hard, gritty win, and then move on to the next one. And then we'll see what quarterback play looks like. We'll see what offensive line play looks like. We're going to see how good this defense is. And then we're going to see if our wide receiver room's explosive. And we're going to see how many running backs we got in that room. So it's going to be very, very fun, exciting week one, and I cannot wait.
Yeah. Yep. And I guess moving on to week 2, man. South Alabama. This is one we probably won't talk about as much. South Alabama, man. I feel like the most relevant thing here is actually the uniforms that we're going to wear against these guys. As someone who lived in Mobile, Alabama for 10 years of my life, thank you, Coast Guard, for making me do that. That was fun. Imagine being an LSU fan in Mobile, Alabama. That was actually deep behind enemy lines. But regardless, I know a lot of guys who went to South Alabama. Actually, I know a guy who I want to talk to. His name's Taylor. I don't know if you've heard of him, Taylor Tanner over there. He does a lot of the stuff for them on South Alabama. But I'm going to talk with him closer to game day, and I'll probably post that whenever that time comes. But nice. Back to the point, it was a few years ago, South Alabama wore some King of Mardi Gras jerseys or whatnot. And look, as someone who's been to both, from me to you, Pat, it's not even close. Mobile has nothing on New Orleans Mardi Gras. It is. Imagine if you took away all of the things that made Mardi Gras fun, and then you just threw it in Mobile. That's literally what their Mardi Gras is. Okay. Even down to the uniforms, man. These uniforms, dude, we got to talk about these uniforms first. These uniforms are sick, man. I have been looking at these uniforms, and I didn't think that they could top last year. I loved the New Orleans tiles, like
last year's is awesome.
It was sick, dude. It was so creative. And then this year, they put out that teaser with the purple background. I remember you said Mardi Gras. Is this Mardi Gras? And I was like, no way.
Yeah.
in October or September, like no way. And yeah, sure enough, it was Mardi Gras, and it's easily one of the best uniforms in college football.
Yeah, I was really hoping, I was like kind of expecting it eventually would happen, especially when they came out with last year's. I'm like, oh, eventually I feel like they're gonna come out with the Mardi Gras version. And then I saw that purple background, and I was just guessing. I'm like, oh, maybe Mardi Gras. And then they came out with it, and I was like, yes, finally. And then I saw them. I was trying to justify to my wife, Eliza, how I could spend $2,500 on this helmet. And she's like, you're an idiot. Do not spend that much on a helmet.
I mean, has she seen the helmet? Has she seen the helmet, though?
Yeah.
That helmet's sick.
She was also like, you're going to waste your money because we're not going to put it in the house anywhere. And I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah, fair. And they're all sold out anyways. I don't even know how they sold out, man. It's so crazy. But
I guess I got to justify spending $500 on a jersey now. So, yeah.
But I mean, hey, have you seen them? But no, I love all the small details, man. With the beads hanging off the nameplate in the back, the helmet, man, the colors that the Tulane, the Angry Wave is wearing, the hat, the Mardi Gras colors, like it's all the attention to detail is just incredible in these uniforms, and it's so nice that in a world of minimalism and very flat design, that we can still have uniforms that come out and look this good.
Yeah, my favorite part about it is on the back where it says "Roll Wave," is on that R where you're talking about. It has those hanging beads on the R of it, and I thought that was a really cool small detail. But yeah, these jerseys, once again, Tulane, even before the City Edition jerseys came out, they had some of the nicest.
Yeah. definitely.
They had some of the nicest jersey combinations, all these different colors, all these different uniforms, pants, jerseys, helmets, all these combinations. And now you have last year's City Edition, now this year's City Edition. Hands down, pat you guys self on the back because these jerseys are amazing.
Yeah, they're incredible, man. But back to the focal point. South Alabama, man. This is, if Tulane loses week 1, this should be their first one of the season. It is your home opener. It's in Yulman. You don't even have to go 2.5 hours to Mobile. You're in Yulman. This is a weak South Alabama team. They're like middle of the pack in the Sun Belt. And I think they had some new hires, but aside from that, like, bringing over Ed Smith and Dalton Hughes from South Alabama, I feel like was very essential, especially Ed Smith. He's going to be a key piece of that defensive line all year. Dalton Hughes is really solid, but he just adds more depth to an already stacked linebacker room. Man, I took one look at this linebacker room, and I didn't realize, it's up there with the running back room. It's up there with the DB room. Like, it's one of their best positions on the roster. Mekhi Williams, Chris Rogers has been everywhere all camp. Dixon Agu, the transfer. All these guys are fantastic. Not to mention, South Alabama last year, man, they were not good. They ran the ball 60% of the time. 6 out of 10, they're running the ball. It's a one-dimensional offense in my eyes. I'd like to see it a little closer to 50-50. Anything above 60%, I feel like you're leaning one way harder than you should. But I feel like it wasn't necessarily maybe like they had a choice. But stack the box, man. They didn't see many coaching staff changes. They saw some new staff. I think they have a new defensive coordinator. I'm not sure. I have it pulled up here, but I'm sort of just skimming through. Yeah, first-year defensive coordinator Todd Orlando. So some coaching staff changes, some transfers, some transfers from big schools. Kerry Lee Jr. from LSU, Peyton Argent from South Carolina, Georgia, DJ Moore from Georgia Tech, not DJ Moore from the Bills. If he was coming back, that would be strange. But no, this is a one-dimensional offense, man. This is it's a bad defense. I think they're one of the worst. They had one of the worst in the country, and it's like 2% sack rate on their defense had a 2% sack rate. They're sacking quarterbacks 2% of the time. They don't get after the quarterback. So if you couldn't build your confidence in the first game with the offensive line, and we're going to get to them in here in a second, this is the game to do it. These guys can't get after the quarterback. I believe they had one of the worst rushing defenses last year. If not, I think it was in like the 60s to 70s range, rank-wise, nationally. So their pass defense is a little better, but I feel like this is the time. I know Jamari McClure might still be out for this game. It's week 2. We still don't really have a timetable on that yet. But
I'm hearing he might have a chance against Duke. Might.
Okay. So argument's sake, let's say he's not back. Mo Turner, Johnny Daniels, these guys are, I feel like these are going to be your main like running backs that, you're just going to be, lining up I formation, have this guy run up the gut. Jalen Lucas is a bit more of a special case. Yes, he'll do the exact same thing, but he's also going to have a lot more versatility, a lot more utility. Very Darren Sproles, Reggie Bush-esque type of player archetype. But yes, South Alabama, weak defense. Not a strong offense. Coaching staff didn't go through many changes. Applewhite is still the head coach over there. He's been there. This is going into his 3rd year now. New defensive coordinator. I don't think it's going to change much. They were, I believe, 4-8 last year.
They were 4-8.
4-8. Yeah, so 4-8 last year. I think they were 6-6 the year before that. So a regression, but this Tulane, you should win this game. It's your home opener. You have no excuse. This is a win.
Yeah, it should be a packed out, sold out stadium, everyone going nuts. Everyone wearing their new city edition helmets or uniforms. Mardi Gras beads flying everywhere on the field, in people's faces. But like what you said, Major Applewhite went 4-8. They lost definitely some dudes. I ended up starting a thing on College Football 27. I always start as a low end offensive coordinator, and this year I chose USA, South Alabama, and I had a little fun with them. But after 1 year, I moved on. But anyways, that's another different pod itself too. There, but Kentrell Bullock, a running back, they lost him from last year. He had over 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. Devin Viason, this wide receiver. I remember last year, Devin Viason, saying he was the only one they had to worry about last year. Bison was an awesome wide receiver. He only had 775 yards and 4 touchdowns, but I was a big fan of him. Like you said earlier, Ed Smith, Dalton Hughes, both coming on over to Tulane. And then returning guys, Bishop Davenport. He's an interesting quarterback. He's a dual threat guy. Not the craziest speed, but he could definitely get it done. He had 9 rushing touchdowns, only 2,073 yards passing, 12 touchdowns. Not sure how many interceptions he had. He's a little bit of a wild card kind of guy. Yeah. Another year with Major Applewhite, another year in college football. I'm expecting him to be better, or at least a little bit better. Yeah. Keenan Phillips, the other running back, he played side by side with Bullocks. He's someone to watch out for. 605 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then Anthony Eager, he's probably going to be their best receiving threat. 40 receptions, 339 yards last year. But the defense, they bring back some experience, mostly at linebacker and secondary. But the bottom line here is they are getting 40 new players, whether it's recruits or transfer portal. 40 new players. This is what Tulane likes to say, continuity. Yeah, basically a whole new roster. This is why we kind of get with Tulane, we kind of get a little continuity. I'm trying to think of another word like we overappreciate, underappreciate. That's probably not the right thing I'm trying to think of. But anyways, Tulane continuity. We didn't have this much of an influx, and then with them, 40 new players, recruits, and portal. Another guy who I really, really liked in the recruiting class last year, I was kind of hoping Tulane would go after, but they went a different route, is Katori Marion. He is a 5'10", speedy slot wide receiver. I ended up watching his tape, and then I made a recruiting profile on my season preview of him. Big fan of him. He has actually been making some noise at camp. So this true freshman may be getting a lot of playing time, maybe starting. Just someone to keep an eye on. I'm glad to hear that he's doing well at camp. But yeah, offense returns some key players, but it's basically a whole entire new defense. So we'll see what happens. Like first home game, I think Tulane is going to be coming out ready to go and just belt ass.
Gorgeous uniforms, man.
Yeah,
like it's a perfect storm, honestly.
Yes. But yeah, so that will wrap up our little Duke and South Alabama segment there, and then we did our little Jersey talk. One thing I wanted to did you have anything else you wanted to
I guess just one thing. Every weekday I have these scout breakdowns come out. Tomorrow it'll be Kansas State. That is, if Duke wasn't their first challenge of the year, Kansas State absolutely is. Kansas State is. They actually look really solid this year, and actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the running for the Big 12 championship this year.
Wow!
I think they're really good, man. They got some new staff changes. I really like the hires. Their head coach was the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M last year. Their defensive coordinator was, I believe, the co-defensive coordinator or something. Also at Texas A&M, he came with him to Kansas State, and the head coach used to play for Kansas State back in like 2009, 2012. He ended up winning crazy amount of awards. He was second team All-American. He actually had a really good season. So he's a Kansas State legend over there. So they're happy to have him back. I'd have to look back exactly at my report again to give you some more details, but stay tuned. It's coming out every weekday, so that'll come out tomorrow. And then every day after that is going to be the next opponent. Counting down, man. We're already 2 games in. We got 10 games to go. That's 2 weeks, man, until game day, man. I'm super excited, dude.
Yeah, I can't believe how fast it came. I remember Cincinnati, the Bengals played. I mean, the NFL's already started. Thursday, I was like, wow, I can't believe preseason's already here. And then I'm like, wow, college football is going to be here before you know it. And we're basically there now. But so the offensive line, we do know Elijah Baker, the left guard, potentially starting left guard, went down with an injury. We don't know how severe, how it might just be a little bump bruise. Who knows? Might just be precautionary. So I'm thinking as of right now, the offensive line, they're probably going to move Stewart back to left tackle. I think they're going to shift Perry over to left guard, and they'll probably have Bach at center. And then they're probably going to move McCall back over to right tackle, and then Reese Baker back to right guard. I think that's one variation. Another variation could be you could keep McCall at left tackle, keep Reese Baker right tackle, and then depending, because Bach used to play guard. Depending on, I think he played right. He was more familiar as right guard. So you could keep. So that's going to probably, I would take Bach, shift him over to left guard, even though, now I feel like I'm kind of questioning myself on this. But anyways, Bach has experience at guard. You could probably shift him over, depending on how he is, how comfortable with it. If it works out, great, put him at left guard. But if Perry takes that other step, which sounds like Perry may have, you keep that first variation of the line that I'm thinking it could be. But if not, you could shift Bach over to one of the guards and then move Mr. Gavin Marks, the guy your story is going to be coming out tomorrow on. Put him at center. That's something I'm thinking of. Well, how do you feel about this offensive line?
Honestly, I felt better as time has gone on, actually. I feel like to start the season, man, those first few practices, especially like that first practice in pads, man, they were getting destroyed. First, second team, it didn't matter. It did not matter. The defensive line was going out there and they were dominating, which is not unusual. That happens quite often in professional and college. But what I have noticed as well is they've slowly but surely they've gotten better, both the first team and the second team. As a matter of fact, every time I pretty much see, I keep an eye out for the center. That's usually the tell of which unit is on the field. If I see 51, I know Bach and the first team are probably out there. If I see 60, I know Gavin Marks and the second team is out there. I have not been at the last 2 practices, unfortunately, so I haven't really been able to get a look at that. I will be going to, I believe it comes back tomorrow, and I start school tomorrow, so I'll
nice.
I'll make sure to be there though. Get a good look at that. But as for which variation, I'm really not sure because, man, I see some reps from that second team, dude, and man, they get some clean pockets in there. They get some really, really clean pockets for Trace, Caden Samada. It doesn't really matter. Whoever's back there has relatively some like a 4 to 5 second pocket that they can throw from. And so, and that goes for the same thing for the first team as well. They've gotten better as time has gone on. As for the shift, man, like you said, I feel like it's going to come down to who's comfortable where. You know, I feel like that's what it should come down to. Who's going to be the most confident? Is if Bach is going to be more confident, you know, playing center, and you know maybe Perry, like you said, took that step and he's confident playing guard, then yeah, maybe the first option is right. But you know, if you're not quite confident with Perry there, you still feel like he's a liability, whatever it is that you may feel. Maybe whether it's in the run blocking, pass blocking, it doesn't matter. You might want to go with that second option. You want Gavin Marks out there. He's got pedigree. He's proven he's really solid. And I think the only reason that he's not starting right now is because Bach just has experience and he's just older. I believe he's a little bigger as well. But that I think that's the only reason why he's not starting right now. But regardless of that, at the end of the day, I feel like they have to go with what they're most comfortable with. But it's still going to be hearsay for a while, you know, how this offensive line is going to play out, who's going to start. It's going to be a question. I feel like this is just as big of a question as the quarterback situation.
Yeah. And by the sounds of it, it sounds like Bach is just having an amazing and impressive camp. So I think he's playing so well at center. They're like, let's not fix what's not broken.
Yeah.
If he's playing so well at center, just keep him at center then, and then you're gonna just got to figure out the guard positions. But yeah, it's they have a lot of depth, which is kind of rare. These past 3 or 4 years, it seems like they had 2, 3 guys deep. Now it seems like they got a guy at each position. You got Dom. So let's say they go back to the original line when Perry's healthy. You have Macau, Baker at your tackles, and then you have Elijah Baker, and then Perry, and then Bach. And then so that means you got Stewart, you got Tristan Fortenberry. Those are tackles, and then you also have Darian Reed. So you got 3, and then Darian Reed can be swing tackle, and then the other 2 are, I think, mostly going to be left tackle. But you have 3 tackles right there, and then you have Marks right behind Bach, who could come in, and then if like I said, Bach could shift either one way, and then at the guard positions, I can't. Why am I not? Can you help me out here with a couple of the backup guards? I'm trying to think of right now.
Oh man, let me. I have the roster right here.
Yeah,
let's see.
I should have wrote it down, but.
Amos, Andre Amos. That's a freshman, right?
Yeah, he's a freshman. He's probably going to be tackle. Why am I not thinking of these names right now? Anyways, we'll come back to it. I'll think about it later. But yeah, they have lots of depth at this offensive line.
Yeah,
and it's something. If an unfortunate thing happens to one of these guys, they got someone to come in who could instantly fill those spots and help out. Oh, Pizzolotto. Pizzolotto is one of the guys who I was thinking of. Robbie Pizzolotto, the Nichols transferred for a couple of years. He has a lot of experience. He can come in. There's someone else I know I'm forgetting, and I apologize for that. I should have been a little more prepared on this part, but there's another guard I'm thinking of, and it's just not coming to my mind right now. I know also they have Tylen George, too. He's a true freshman. He came early to camp. I don't know how I haven't heard a whole lot from him, but if you don't hear a lot from an offensive lineman, that's usually a good thing anyways. So
yeah, right.
But yeah, so those are my thoughts on the offensive line. Curious, but do you have anything else you'd like to add to that as well?
Nah, man, you pretty much said everything that I was thinking.
Okay, cool. And then so the last 2 parts here, I just wanted to go over the defense a little bit because I feel like we kind of went over a couple teams and then went over just one position group on the offense. So I want to go over a little bit, a couple things on the defense. My question to you is, which position group do you think is going to lead this Tulane defense or be like the best group on the Tulane defense?
Oh man, I feel like I probably said it earlier. It's either the linebackers or that secondary. It's one of the 2. And I feel like linebackers might have more of a case because they are technically more of like the brain of the defense, sort of the guys that run the show. So I suppose I'll give the slight edge to them, and that's purely because of just how much they've impressed me. From Mekhi Williams, and senior, he's been with the Wave all 4 years. Chris Rogers, dude, it's high flying. I've heard his name everywhere, dude. You scroll 5 seconds on Tulane Twitter, you'll see some sort of article or somebody talking about him, somebody praising him. And Agu, he's from Louisville, right? The transfer from Louisville, or is that the defensive back?
That's the defensive back. That's his brother, Dixon Agu. Dixon Agu was recruited. He's a lifelong Tulane guy, Dixon Agu. He had the ACL injury last year, but Justin Agu is his brother. He came over from Louisville, and he plays corner.
I knew I confused one of the Agus as a transfer from Louisville. But yeah, dude, he's been solid all camp. I've said his name quite a bit while watching. But and just to flip to the other side really quick to the secondary is just as strong. Macho Stevenson, although I don't think he's I don't know if he's going to be cornerback 1. He'll probably be either cornerback 2 or 3. But he's been really solid. The guy who's impressed me the most is, of course, Isaiah Shine. Isaiah Shine, it was a key returning player. Actually, it was one of my first transfer portal stories I wrote way back when in January, where I wrote about Isaiah Shine and how they had retained him. And he is easily probably the most important retention on that defense, because dude has been lights out lockdown, straps, corner, the entire camp. He's been incredible. Whether it's against Fat Hill or it's against ABS, it doesn't really matter. He can hang with anybody. He can run with anybody. He's super athletic, dude. He's got great hands. And but overall, that defensive back room, and I don't even know if I even mentioned Jack Chinchu, but he's just as strong. Kevin Adams is coming back as well. So the safety positions are really fine. And defensive back, you might have lost a few, but you got Isaiah Shine, Macho Stevenson, and these guys, Justin Agu. These are two, the defense is what makes me feel so strong about Tulane this year, and why I feel like a lot of people are counting them out way too early, because at the end of the day, a defense gets you really, really far. It doesn't matter how good your offense is. If you got a decent O-line and a really good defense, you're probably going to win 10 games. That's just the nature of college football, especially if your quarterback can run. So definitely the defensive backs and the linebackers, but I'm going to give the slight edge to the linebackers, just because I feel like they're more focused, they're more central, and also they're sort of just they're the brain, and they're so strong. They're so strong.
Yeah. I was actually going to say linebacker myself, because and then my next question was going to be, which player do you think is going to be the leader or basically the leader or best player, however you want to look at it, on that defensive side. And then what you said, oh, sorry, keep going.
Oh, no, you're good. I'll say the leader it'll probably be Mekhi Williams, senior, lifelong greenie. He's every time I see him, during warmups and throughout practice, I feel like, even as just a spectator, I feel like I should go ask him a question. If I feel like this rep was kind of weird. If there's a player I can ask, forget coaches. Coaches can help you, but it's great to get advice from some starters as well. If there's a guy that I was going to go to, it's Mekhi Williams. It might be his beautiful hair. It could be that. His long locks, his long luscious locks. But aside from that, no, I've had the pleasure of sitting down and actually talking with him. I did it with Doug once after one practice, and it was way back in spring. Super, super nice. And very carries himself super well, very well spoken. And I can just tell he's a born leader, man. That guy is he's really good at football, but more importantly, and we saw this, with the Saints the past few years with Demario Davis. If it's not your quarterback, it's probably going to be your linebacker. That's gonna be leading your team, and Mekhi Williams is definitely the guy for that.
Nice. Okay, you pretty much were spot on where I was going to go with that. I was going to say, like you said, secondary or the linebacker group. Secondary, you got Kevin Adams, Jack Chinchu. Those guys are going to be all conference type of players. Kevin Adams is shifting over to free safety, and Chinchu's come down to strong safety, which makes sense, because before, I believe it was Chinchu that had it free safety, and then Kevin Adams is at strong safety. But you kind of see the molds of these players. Chinchu is more of an attacking, come down, hit a guy. But he can also play coverage too, but not like Kevin Adams. Kevin Adams, you can put him in that center field, free safety spot. Let him roam, let him be back there, and let him use his coverage skills to his advantage. But the linebackers, they have Mekhi Williams, Dixon Agu, Chris Rogers, Dalton Hughes, J.C. Joseph. You have Grayson McPherson,
famous kicker.
Right? Grayson McPherson, the preferred walk-on linebacker, who had a really good spring and came on when Dixon Agu was out. So I've been keeping my eyes on Grayson McPherson. I also do like these little spotlights and players and stuff. I came out with him as well, but. And then you also have 3 other freshmen back there too. Brasher, something like Brasher made a play during the scrimmage. Chan Lumpkin is 6'4", used to play wide receiver in high school. He's a 6'4". I think he's going to be a great will linebacker and coverage kind of guy you can just move around, be like another Chris Rogers basically, but I think bigger. I don't think Chris Rogers is 6'4". And then you also have Brasher, Lumpkin, and someone else. Once again, I'm forgetting names. Apologize for that. But
I mean, you named like the entire room. I don't think it's a big deal
yeah.
to just miss one.
I know, man. I try to remember everyone as I can. But anyway, so that linebacker room, and then someone who's gonna lead or like be the best players. I kind of cheated here. I went two ways. I think it's gonna come down to these two guys, and how one guy succeeds is gonna help another guy succeed. And I think that is gonna be Ed Smith and Chris Rogers. Ed Smith is going to clog up those lanes. He's going to get in the offensive line space, and he is going to be able to let Chris Rogers or whoever linebacker be able to roam, get free, and make hits. That's what I'm kind of thinking of, is a little combination duo between D-line and linebackers, kind of doing that. But that's what I was thinking. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love that idea. Honestly, I the two guys feeding off of each other is better than just one guy, leading the whole charge. And like you said, it frees up the linebacker, man. They can do whatever. They can float around. They can give big hits, spy the quarterback, or really whatever, especially spy the quarterback. But yeah, dude, two guys feeding off of each other is so important. And they do it regardless. It's not just two; the entire team feeds off each other. You can tell it. You can tell pretty much at every practice. And their defense is super fun to watch, man. Their energy is so high. They're always talking. First, second, third team, it does not matter. These guys are always yelling at each other in a good way. They're not pissed. They're just, hey, this guy's motioning. Do something about it. But the defense, man, they're so exciting. It's the best part of this team, and it's still so surprising to me that people are sleeping on Tulane this much. 9-3, okay, I could see that, but 8-4, 7-5, I don't see those records happening. Middle of the pack American, they've made
something bad. Yeah, something bad would have to happen if they go 8-4, 7-5.
Like it'd have to be disastrous. Like I'm talking injury after injury. Maybe Caden goes down. And Zion steps into that spot. Elijah Baker stays out for maybe most of the season, and then maybe another offensive lineman goes down. Maybe McCow or something like that, or McCow. Yeah. Like you said, disastrous. The borderline disastrous for something like that to happen. But this team has stayed healthy. They've made 4 straight conference championships with 2 different head coaches. This is a player-led program. They have proved that. And although Will Hall is, he's not a winner as a head coach, it's been a long time. It was a long time ago. He got time under Willie Fritz. He got time under Summerall. He was their passing game coordinator last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's learned. The fan in me is saying he's taken that time and he's learned from his mistakes, and he's learned from, I guess his masters, the guy above him, he's taken notes is what I'm trying to say. And I feel like that's all going to pay off this year. This is one of the most, I feel like I just had an article. I was looking at it yesterday because I was writing about Kansas State. I should have looked at Tulane retention. And the percentage of players, especially on defense, man, like almost their entire defense is back, except minus like probably the defensive line spot.
Yeah.
A ton of retention. The defense is strong. Defense wins championships, of course. And that's what's going to keep them in a lot of these games. A lot of people are sleeping on us. 10-2, man. We're going 10-2 this year. We're going back to the conference championship.
Mm-hmm. You think college football playoff?
Man, after the whole debacle with last year, I just it's going to be hard for any G5 team to get in that playoff.
Especially Notre Dame. Especially Notre Dame crying about it too.
Crying like a child, bro.
Yeah.
If you want to make the playoffs, beat Miami. If that's what you want, just beat Miami.
Or go to a conference. Just go to a conference. Go to the Big Ten like you should have been for the past 40 years. I don't know.
It's so ridiculous. And I listened for a long time before I became a reporter. I used to listen to Josh Pate a lot, or Patus, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And Of course, I really liked him when LSU was good. I like everybody when LSU's good. I like it when people glaze my team, man. It's great. But when this whole thing was happening with Tulane, James Madison going to the playoffs, they were undefeated. I think. Well, Tulane had they had 2 losses last year, right? Ole Miss and UTSA. So they had 2 losses, but they only had 1 loss in their conference. They're going to make the conference championship. They're going to win their conference against North Texas. A lot of people are like, man, North Texas, they had the best offense in the country last year. They had one of the best quarterbacks in the country last year. Drew Messmaker. They both went to Oregon State, or was it Oklahoma State? It was one of the two. One of the orange
State.
ones.
Yeah, they found their coach to Oklahoma State.
Yeah, so they both went to Oklahoma State, and North Texas was really, really good last year, and
they were.
That Tulane defense, which again had a lot of retention going into this year, held them 17, 20 points. A team that was averaging 40 points a game.
Yeah.
40 points a game, and you held them to half of that. And so, it's going to be fun to watch them this year. I'm excited to see this defense. But all in all, man, when those playoffs were happening, it was so frustrating to see people bring down not just Tulane, but James Madison as well. James Madison they had 1 loss, right? Was it 1 loss or I think they were just undefeated.
Oh, I can't remember, man.
Man, I think let's say they were undefeated because it's supposed to be argument, and that's what matters. And so, undefeated, even if they had 1 loss, they won their conference, and I feel like in my eyes, with all these big, tournaments across sports in general, whether it be NFL, whether it be MLB, NBA, college basketball, college baseball. Even college basketball and baseball are much bigger. Yes, the College World Series itself is smaller, but everybody gets to compete for it. You have to win your conference tournament. You win your conference tournament, there's some extra rules. You get to go to the World Series, whatever. You get to compete. And then basketball, I don't even have to say anything. It's a 64-team tournament. It is massive. It is so large. And, of course, you get your Cinderella runs. Usually they end around the Elite 8 or maybe – if you're crazy enough, you get to the Final 4. Very rarely you get to the national championship. And to hear all these people say last year, like, oh, it's a safety issue. It's this and that. First off, that's absolutely ridiculous to say. A safety issue, these are all grown men playing a sport, okay? Whether or not, the guy lining up in front of me is 2 or 3 inches taller than me, it doesn't really matter. Look at Indiana, man. They don't have the massive 5-star SEC guys that Alabama had, and Alabama got put on their ass, destroyed. Yeah. And so I don't want to hear anything about safety issues. They don't deserve it. Strength of schedule. I don't want to hear it. If you
Tulane
win,
USC safety issue. Maddie Hudak, I remember she posted this great tweet. She's like, safety issue, and it's Pat Jenkins sacking the quarterback or the running back in the end zone for a safety. She's like, safety issue what?
Yeah, exactly. And points like that. And that was with Caleb Williams. That wasn't USC without Caleb Williams. That was USC with Heisman winning quarterback, Caleb Williams.
Madden 27 cover athlete.
And, man, he was so fun to watch in the playoffs last year. But, yeah, dude, so hearing all that, it makes my brain turn off. It makes me feel like you're sort of like a college football elitist sort of thing where you really only want the SEC. You really only want the Big Ten. Those are really the only teams that you want in your top 5. LSU will find its way into the top 15 of every preseason ranking every single year, whether or not they won 5 games or 10 games the year before. And so, in my eyes, to bring this long rant to a close, in my eyes,
you're good, man.
if you win, you're in. Screw your strength of schedule. Well, I mean, obviously to a certain extent, but just to the point of Notre Dame, don't complain when you had a chance to beat a top team and you lost. So don't complain when you don't get to be with the top teams because you lost to the one top team you played. If you want a better chance to be up there, play more top teams, or join a conference. But
join the Big Ten like you should have done a long, long time ago. You are rivals with half of the Big Ten. Like, it's insane how many rivals Notre Dame has. It's insane how many they have. They have USC, who's all the way in the West Coast. They got the team up north. I will not say it because I'm from Ohio and I'm from Ohio State fan, but the team up north. Speaking of the team up north, this is the dumbest thing I ever heard. Kyle Whittingham, who is now the head coach over at the team up north, said the Ohio State game is just another game. I don't know why there's so much hatred between it. We shouldn't play like that. Man. I'm like, you are the reason. I'm like, you do not deserve to coach that team. You know what? Look at it. No, get the hell out of the Midwest. Get the hell out of the Big Ten. Go back to Utah and coach over there then. If you're going to say dumb shit like that, excuse my language.
No, it's 100%. I get it. And, something similar happened. I don't know if you keep up with soccer at all, the World Cup that just happened this past summer. But Team USA's captain, or not captain, but he's hailed as one of the best U.S. players ever. He's the only U.S. player to ever win a Champions League. That's like their Super Bowl, basically. Best team in Europe. And he said leading up to the World Cup, now, mind you, the World Cup is everybody's dream. That's everybody's dream. It happens once every 4 years, and you only get one shot. And
it's like the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. You have to qualify for it as well. And in 2018, the USA didn't even qualify for it. So leading up to this tournament, he said that the World Cup was just another big tournament that he was going to play in. And then my mind immediately jumps to exactly what you just said, because you don't get it. You just don't get it. Like to the point of, the guys up north, he doesn't get the rivalry. Man, I've been an LSU fan my entire life. Everybody knows about Ohio State and the other team. Everybody knows about it. They all know about planting the flag on the logo and how disrespectful it is. But that's the whole point of the fun. That's what makes it so fun. Is the fireworks and the anger and the animosity. That's what football is about.
Right. One of my favorite quotes is Coach Hayes. Why'd you go for 2 at the end of the game? Because I couldn't go for 3.
Exactly. Run up the score, man. Who cares? That was one thing I wasn't a big fan of with Willie Fritz. He didn't like to run up the score. Man, don't play pity with me. Don't take it easy on me just because you're beating the hell out of me. No. Yeah. Keep it going. I'm going to give you my hardest. I expect you to give me your hardest. And that's clearly something a lot of people don't expect nowadays.
Yeah. Yep. But wow, that was good. That was good little rants at the end there. I really enjoyed that. That was fun.
That was fun.
Oh yeah. And then this whole pod, thank you again for coming on. And then I actually have one last question before we wrap this up. Like I said, thank you so much for coming on. I hope we can keep on doing this. And then but last question. I'm a big foodie guy. I love pizza. What is your favorite pizza place in New Orleans?
Oh man. God, favorite pizza place. There was actually, I don't know if it's still open anymore. There was a local place right by where I live. I live in Gentilly. You know where that is,
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I stay right behind Gentilly. And if you drive down Chef, because I live right by the bridge that goes to the east, right? So if you take Chef all the way down the opposite from the east, so you're driving towards Metairie, eventually, this is towards my aunt's house, really. Take a right along some street. I forget which one it is, but it's a place called Pepperoni Ray's. They closed down like maybe last year, but then I believe they reopened.
Nice.
I really hope they are still open, but if they are still open, Pepperoni Ray's is absolutely the guys that I get every single time. They're close, but it's just really good. Nice. If not them, I feel like Fat Boys is always just a great safe option.
Fat Boys. I don't think I've had Fat Boys. I'll definitely check out. I don't know how long I'm going to be out. I'm pretty much going to stay offshore until they tell me to leave or they run me off because I've just been out here too long and become an asshole, kind of basically.
Yeah.
But Mid-City Pizza is my favorite. Forbidden Pizza, that new one that Dave Portnoy rated really, really high. I really love that place too as well. Okay. But yeah, the reason why. Yeah. Mid-City Pizza. They used to have one right across from the baseball stadium, but they closed that down, and now it's in Mid-City. Forget what street it's on, but then Forbidden Pizza's downtown. Really, really good. And then the reason why I brought that up, tomorrow is pizza day out here. So all I've been thinking
Awesome.
about this whole entire day is pizza day.
I heard that, man. That sounds delicious.
Yes.
But,
And it's homemade too. It's really,
oh,
really good.
man. Oh, man.
Yeah,
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
They got some chefs out here. Instead of just these cooks, they got some chefs out here. So
oh, man. I know y'all are eating great.
We got some great chefs out here. We got a good gym, good diving, good times. So yeah.
I mean, I'm heading to the gym right after this, man. I'm
Nice.
right there with you.
All right. Well, once again, thank you for coming on, man. This was a great pod. I really enjoyed it. And we'll get together again. And then before you know it, man, football is going to be here. And
I'm so excited, man. Thanks for having me, as always, man. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, man. Until next time.
Roll wave. See you later, guys.
Roll wave. See y'all later.
Thank you for tagging along today, guys. If you liked anything you heard today, just go ahead and please like, subscribe, share. You can follow me at Roll That Wave on X and also YouTube, and then also at Be in the Know, basically everywhere and anywhere. All right, thank you. Roll Wave.